Rob, so Apple has 230 billion of cash on its balance sheet and it spends $1 billion owning 5% of a Chinese company that I hadn't heard of. Why on earth are we even talking about this?
Well, it is just the kind of money that Apple finds in the couch cushions.
Yeah.
However, it is strategically interesting in two ways. It's interesting about China, and it's interesting about their approach to services as opposed to hardware, which is, of course, their main business.
So presumably China's where they've been growing great gangbusters.
Well, had been growing great gangbusters. So about a quarter of their sales are in Greater China. So $55 billion of sales in the last 4 quarters.
Right.
And a year ago, that had been growing at like a house of fire, and about 60% or more of the dollars of growth that Apple was seeing was coming from Greater China. In the last reported quarter, there was effectively no growth at all.
So the Chinese have fallen out of love with the iPhone. They've got other smartphones that are cheaper, or what?
I mean, we've talked about before how there is an issue that we're between models.
Yeah.
So this is not, there is a cyclical side to Apple's business, and we're in the bottom part of the cycle. So perhaps don't overreact.
Sure.
But China is a huge market. If Apple is going to grow, and of course we're at a period in the company's life where that's open to question, it has to grow in China, and electronic payments in particular is a much more mature market in China than it is in the United States. More people use electronic payments over there than over here, and
That's
one of the places
so
they use those payments.
They're ahead of the West.
Yeah, indeed.
And you say, Didi's the name of this company. Didi meaning beep beep or something like that. So what?
So it's a sort of Chinese Uber.
Oh, okay.
And the idea here is that you get in the cab, you probably hail it with your iPhone, you make the payment with the iPhone on your way out, and it's.
So let me get this straight: is this Apple moving into services? Because they're not owning the whole of this, or are they going to insist that you have to use an iPhone for this?
Well, they won't be able to insist, because the other shareholders in Didi include Alibaba and Tencent, both of whom also have payment apps that they will want to use in the same way. But I think it's a toe in the water for Apple into what they see as a large market. Now, there may also be a political aspect to this, in as much as Apple has had their problems in China with patent lawsuits, sort of getting tangled with the government in terms of the accessibility of iTunes in China and so forth. So maybe by spending some local money, they are ingratiating themselves to a certain degree in the market.
But ultimately, the test is, will it result in more Chinese people buying many more iPhones? And that we're going to just have to wait for the next model to come out, I guess.
I think that's right.
Thanks, Rob.